I'm Nina McLaughlin, and this is News You Can Trust. This past week, Senator Angus King made the announcement that he will not be supporting Judge Neil Gorsuch for the Supreme Court. Furthermore, he announced his support of extreme liberal New York Democrat Chuck Schumer's filibuster proposal. Maine GOP Executive Director Jason Savage had this to say about Maine's newly minted Democratic senator. I find it to be incredibly sad and insulting that Senator King is playing liberal Democrat partisan games with New York Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer. Senator King has shown his true colors. He is non-independent in the least, whether that be an independent thinker or independent legislator. By siding with liberal Democrats, Senator King has placed himself far to the left of moderate Democrats in the U.S. Senate supporting Judge Gorsuch. We would like to thank the thousands of you who reached out to Senator Angus King's offices to voice your support for Judge Neil Gorsuch. Here are some of your reactions to his decision. He's acting like a child playing politics with such a qualified individual. I will never vote for King again. King only follows the wind. And what a coward. This past Wednesday was a big day in Augusta. This is because there was a public hearing on multiple bills pertaining to the minimum wage as well as the tip credit. The primary draw being the tip credit, of course. Hundreds of Maine restaurant workers came out to voice their support for reinstating the tip credit and to stand in the face of special liberal interest activists coming from the Maine People's Alliance. I had the good fortune to be able to speak with two of the primary organizers of the Maine Servers Group. McLaughlin, Communications Director with the Maine GOP, and I'm excited to be here with two very great people. If you don't mind introducing yourselves.
Susan Stevenson from Pepinos in Bangor.
I'm Jason Clay from Governor's Restaurant.
And tell me what your roles are in everything that's happening today.
Jason and I are co-coordinators of the Restaurant Workers of Maine alongside Jason Buckwalter and also Lisa Sturgeon, who does marketing for Gagan's. We are unpaid volunteers. We were asked to help, and we couldn't be more honored to be involved and to just see today happening.
Now, if you don't mind sharing, how many people roughly are in your group?
As of today, we have 5,293 members of our organization.
And those people just came to you organically?
Completely organically. It started with Jason Buckwalter, who's a server in Bangor, and started with him. We were one of the first people to join. He asked us for our help, and it's grown to over 5,000 people.
That's awesome. Now, what is it about restoring the tip credit that you are so passionate about?
Well, I think it's all about jobs. I mean, people, the tip credit allows restaurants to provide opportunities for people to work because they are able to pay a tip wage, which gets guaranteed to be at least the minimum wage with tips. So restoring the tip credit will allow full-service restaurants to continue to provide those opportunities for high-paying jobs in our industry.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see for yourselves, for your businesses, and for all the people who are in your group? What do you see happening if the tip credit doesn't get restored?
Well, we're here today to restore it, so that's what we're focused on. But I think in thinking about what those unintended consequences would be changing business models. And changing business models means less hours and less jobs, and that's what we're facing. And it's also, possibly moving to no tipping, which would not be good for employees because that is how they earn their wage.
And you look at the last resort is raising prices,
yes.
And that would be unfortunate for the people of Maine, for restaurants to have to substantially raise prices to deal with these wage increases that don't need to happen.
The tip credit works for workers, it works for businesses, and it works for our loyal patrons. So reinstate the tip credit.
And lastly, if there's one thing that you could explain to the opposition, what would you want to tell them?
Servers who make tip wage are guaranteed to make at least the prevailing minimum wage. If they don't earn it in tips, the restaurant is required to make that up. It never happens because they always make more than that in tips. So if you pass a higher minimum wage, if the minimum wage eventually gets to $12 an hour, servers will be guaranteed to make that much money. with the tip credit.
Yeah, and with the minimum wage increasing, they also got a raise in that. And anytime that you increase menu prices, servers also get a raise too.
The hearing went on all day and well into the evening, and I was only there for about 5 hours. Here's some footage that we have to give to you exclusively.
Today's hearing is the first official chance to hear from the citizens who are directly affected by the removal of the tip credit. They are passionate that we listen to their personal stories, showing why we must fix this aspect of the ballot questions. I address you today as a former restaurant server who has personal experience in choosing tips over minimum wage. I know that I would not have made as much money or worked as hard if it were not for my tip.
My greatest fear, however, is the impact this is going to have on the restaurants and the other hospitality firms in this state if this continues. Running a restaurant is difficult at best. The number of startup restaurants that fail within 5 years is staggering. This development will only worsen their odds of survival.
My name is Nate Libby. I proudly represent all of the people of Lewiston in the Maine Senate, and I'm here today on behalf of my colleague, Senator Troy Jackson, who had an obligation that he couldn't change today.
So today, we're very likely to hear these workers are being injured today. And he's proposing, and I would like to know how you can justify allowing these people to be injured day after day for the next 2 years while politicians in Augusta talk about this. How would you justify that?
The public hearing went all day and well into the evening, ending after midnight. The last piece of legislation presented was LD 1005, which is sponsored by Harold Stewart, a representative from Presque Isle. Only a Republican would stay until after 11:30 at night to present a bill for the good of the people. Under Governor LePage's leadership, the Maine Department of Education has announced 7 grant awards to encourage schools to develop new efficiencies and collaborative projects. They have picked 7 schools who will receive the grants, and these grants will save taxpayers $16.2 million over the next 5 years. And this project is the LePage administration's effort to put money directly into the classroom and not into administrators' pockets. This past week, Democratic leaders unveiled their proposal for a biennial budget. We went to look more into their budget, and we visited the blog made specifically for this budget, but failed to find any details on what the budget would entail, aside from their proposal to increase taxes and also increase wasteful government spending.
At the Democrats unveiling their opportunity agenda, I think there's very few quick takeaways that you can take from it, which is really more of the same, which is tax and spend Democrats. And when you look at their budget proposal, at least if you look at just the sheet on the back side, you're looking at over $600 million in new proposed spending. I don't think that includes the $200 million that the governor's proposed in cuts in the Department of Health and Human Services. And it certainly doesn't include bonds, which they don't specify in terms of how much they want to add in additional spending in bonds.
Like their past budget proposals and listening sessions that they periodically introduce, we're sure that this budget is simply a publicity stunt. And in fact, I would like to coin a new term, and we'll call it BINO, budget in name only. Thank you for watching this episode of News You Can Trust. Be sure to share it with your friends on social media. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see more information on what we're doing at the party, go to MaineGOP.com. We know we're not reporters, but you can trust us.